Everyone, Alodar here. Just going to bring you a quick video about the impending release of the new private server, Northdale. It's not so much just a video about the new private server Northdale, which is due to be released in just over a day now. It's about this video is basically geared towards preparing people for playing on any fresh server, whether it's a private server or whether it's classic. Just kind of give you a heads up as to what it's going to be like. A lot of people that are watching this video, I'm expecting, are people that have never played on a fresh server. If you've played on a fresh server right at launch, you probably have an idea as to what I'm going to talk about here. But many people that I talk to in my stream, they've played on private servers or they played in vanilla, but a lot of them never actually played at the initial launch. So it's a lot different than when you play on a private server and you start playing a month after the server's been up, or even just a few days after the server's been up. So for those of you that are planning on playing on the server when it launches, this is kind of the video that's geared towards you. And maybe if you've never played vanilla before, you might want to watch this video anyways, because there's going to be a lot of information on what you may or may not want to do when you're initially playing on this server. Now, before you actually get started on the server, I would strongly advise that you check to make sure that your client's going to work properly, everything's downloaded properly, that it's going to connect to the server properly, etc., etc. The second thing that I'd make sure that you do is that you download your add-ons and make sure that they're working. Do this by logging into the current Lights Hope Lightbringer server and make sure that it's working, everything's working there just the way that you want. The last thing that you want to do is when you log in and find out that your add-ons aren't working properly, and the entire time that you're leveling right from the very beginning you're wanting to log off in order to fix something. You don't want to log off because there's a very good chance that there's going to be a long queue, and you want to be able to make sure that your system, your game is set up properly so that you're not logging off for stuff like that. If you log off and there's a queue, it could take you an hour or 2 hours to get back in. So you want to have everything working and functioning properly once that happens. So now once you are sitting there and say the server's about to launch, you're going to want to log into the whatever starting zone that you're in, and you've got to kind of have a game plan in action or ready to implement as soon as you get into the game. Now, either you're going to have a group of friends that you're already planning on meeting up with right at launch and you're going to group up with them, or you're just going in and you're going to try and grind through this stuff as fast as possible, as fast as you possibly can. I will tell you from experience though that you can have 3 or 4 other people that you're planning on meeting in game at launch. It's almost inevitable that 1 or 2 of those people is probably not going to get in right away. So you've got a choice to make. Are you going to sit there and wait for those people to get in, or are you going to push on without them? As sad as this may sound, I'm going to suggest that you push on without them. And the reason being is you're probably going to have to expect that there's going to be problems, which means your client might crash, the server might crash, etc., etc. And if this starts to happen, you're going to find that you're constantly waiting for one person or another to get into game before you start. Push on without them. You can group up with them later and let them catch up. So once you get into the game, if you're there right from the start of the launch of the fresh server, you're going to notice that there's going to be hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people in the starting area. And I'm not kidding you, this is why it causes these servers so many problems, and they could crash. If you're in, say, the Torrens starting area, you'll look around and suddenly all these other Torrens are popping up, and there's only a limited number of mobs for you to kill. So the first thing you want to do is shout out that you're looking for a group. Just put into /say or whatever. Now on private servers, sometimes they have the speech off so that you can't actually say anything, but you'll probably want to start adding people to the group one way or the other. Different servers do different things. So if you're watching this video and you're playing on a private server where you are going to be able to talk at level 1, then great. If not, then you're going to have to come up with a different method to add people to the group, whether it's by jumping up and down or right clicking on them and adding them to the group, what have you. But find a way to get yourself into a group, or if it's with your friends in Discord, add yourselves to the group and then start working with each other to get killing mobs and finishing quests as fast as possible. Now there's two different strategies that some people will try and take. One is that they will immediately grab all the quests and go out and start grinding mobs, as fast as possible, type of thing. Some people I know will group up and they will go and try and kill higher level mobs. So if you're level 1, they'll immediately go where like the level 3 or 4 mobs are, and they'll just sit there and grind through them and get their levels that way, because trying to kill the mobs right near the initial starting area, there's going to be hundreds of people there, and you're not going to be able to tag any, or it's going to be very hard. So some people, they try and go ahead, get a couple of levels, and then once they get to like level 3 or 4, they'll actually move out of that initial level 1 to 5 area, and they'll move to the level 5 to 10 area. And then eventually they'll collect the quests. The idea is that you want to try and get ahead of other people. So whatever you can think of to try and get those first few levels is extraordinarily important. There's certain classes where you'll get an instacast ability relatively early on. So an example of that would be Moonfire from Druids. They get it at level 4. You really want to make sure, if you're a Druid, it's the second you hit level 4, you get back to town. I don't care if you're in the middle of a quest, go train it and then go back to your group. Having that instacast ability will pay you dividends immediately. You'll be able to tag mobs immediately and help your group get through quests right away. If you can get 2 or 3 people that have Moonfire spam, then that's even better. So once you get past the initial 5 or 1 to 5 area and you can get into the next area, again, collect the quests and just start moving to where your quests are and kill everything on the way. Any mobs that you possibly can, because the grinding is actually, a lot of people tell you that grinding even from 1 to 60, some people will tell you that grinding is just as fast as doing all the quests. So make sure you're killing those mobs, because those mobs are going to help push you further and further ahead of everyone else. So you'll basically really want to focus on doing that. And again, if there's 4 or 5 of you in a group and you tag a mob, that mob should instantly be dead anyway, so it shouldn't even slow you down. Now, as far as other things that you might want to consider, make sure that you're saving gold, and the primary reason is that for level 40, but you want to start thinking about this right from level 1. And when you get to like level 5 and you get to the second town, you'll want to be able to train things in order to help you collect more items to collect to sell to get more gold. So I'm talking about like herbalism, mining, gathering professions. Same as you'll want to train first aid. The reason is obvious, so that you can heal yourself, particularly if you're a warrior, but hopefully you've got some sort of a healer in your group, so you can just keep going and keep going. And a lot of the stuff you want to be very conscious of is like, do you really need to train certain abilities? So for example, if you're a warlock, you don't really need to train Eye of Kilrog. Don't spend the money on it. Only spend your money on abilities that are going to make you help you kill mobs faster. And I know sometimes it might be really tempting. Don't buy weapons off vendors. Don't just use weapons that you collect. Those weapons that you buy off vendor, that's just taking gold away from you getting your mount at level 40. And I know at this initial launch phase, level 40 is going to seem like a long way away, but you really want to start paying attention to that right away. One little thing that I do, and I don't even know that I should be talking about this in a video, but I'm going to. A lot of people go and collect the gathering profession, so they get skinning and mining and whatever, and that it's a good idea if you want to go that way. But one thing that I do is I actually collect enchanting and then a gathering profession, usually skinning, and I'll skin whatever animals I can, and then I will use enchanting to disenchant things and then I'll sell those on the auction house or on the vendor. So at least my enchanting's starting to get up. And if you can get your enchanting up to level 70 and be able to start making wands, those are very, very useful for any class that can use a wand, and they want a wand for while they're leveling, so you can actually sell those quite well. And you can use disenchanting to get your level up a little bit, and if you can get it to level 70, then great. At that point, I'd probably just make wands, sell them on the auction house, and you'll probably notice that they sell all right. But otherwise, make sure that anything that you're doing, don't spend any money if you don't need to. If it's to raise abilities that can help you kill mobs, the next rank of, one of your damage abilities, then by all means, definitely train that. But only train the damage abilities that you're actually going to use. So, if you're a warlock and there's some destruction spells that you just generally don't use because you're leveling as affliction, don't level them. Don't level them until later. You don't need them right now. Just level your bolt, your dots, and then keep going, because that's all you really need, right? Same as succubus. At level 20, you can go and get it. You may or may not actually use it. If you're far enough ahead, you might only want to use your void walker all the way up to help you level as fast as possible. Really keep these things in mind when you're getting when you're leveling up, because you want to get your mount as close to level 40 as you can. Some people will have enough gold for their mount at level 40, and as soon as they're at level 40, they're off and running. Like literally they're off and running, whereas you're on foot and you're trying to keep up. So they will get further and further ahead, and some people, they don't get their mount to like level 45 or even level 50, and can you imagine how much further behind they're going to be because they don't have a mount? So it is very important to be to really think about that as you're leveling up. Now, as far as playing on a fresh server, is if this is your first time doing so, I mentioned earlier, but keep in mind there are likely going to be problems. I've never played on a fresh server before that didn't have problems, so the server crashes, or there's just way too many people in the starting zone and it crashes, your client crashes, whatever. It's going to happen. So if it doesn't happen, then consider yourself really lucky, but expect that it's going to happen, and expect that when you do get kicked out, you're probably going to be logging in and there's going to be a queue. If there is, there's nothing you can do about it. It's going to be happening to most people. Go grab a bite to eat, whatever. If you see that the queue is going to be like an hour, go have a shower, watch an episode, latest episode of some TV show you've been watching it while you're keeping track of the queue. Try not to get too flustered, because it's going to happen most likely. And when it does, just kind of, that's kind of the shit that happens on private servers or on fresh servers. You can probably expect that on Northdale, which is launching, which is the server that's launching soon, there's probably going to be between 8,000 and 10,000 people that are on at launch. So if you can imagine all those people into one little crammed area, it's probably going to cause some problems. Now, once you get to level 5 and you've gone through level 10, it's at that point where you're probably going to notice people are spreading out a little bit. You've got a choice of which zone you want to go to next and stuff like that. Some people, if they're, for example, leveling undead, you have your choice of continuing on through Silverpine, or you can go over to the Barrens. Silverpine might be less busy. Maybe you want to stay in Silverpine. Other people are just like, no, I know the Barrens like the back of my hand. I'm going to head over there as soon as I hit level 10 and just start grinding through as fast as possible. Everybody has their own little game plan, right? If you can stay in groups to continue on up until higher level, 15, 20, then great. I would strongly suggest, if you really want to get ahead of the pack, you should probably be aiming to get to about level 20 by the end of the first day. That's going to be tough to do. I'm going to stay on as long as I can. I don't know if I'll hit level 20, but that's my ultimate goal, is to hit level 20 without there being a tremendous amount of complications with the server. So maybe try and set a goal. If you don't hit it, because of server issues or whatever, there's nothing you can do about it. If you hit it earlier than you thought, keep pushing forward and see how much further you can get. Now, once you get to level 20, if you get to that point at the end of the first day, you will want to make sure. I've been stressing the fact that you want to be in groups as much as you can, so you can level. You will definitely want to be in a group when you're past level 20 as much as you can, because at that point, not only are you competing against people from your own faction that are going to try and finish quests, you're going to have other people. And if you're out questing on your own, there's going to be a group of the opposing faction. If they see you, they're just going to kill you. And they're going to do it not because they're dinks, but because, well, they're dinks, but they're going to kill you because they want you're fighting for the same mobs they are. You're fighting to finish quests in the same area they are. And the less of you that are around, the faster they can level. And that's probably the reason why they killed you. And keep in mind, back in vanilla, those graveyards were not right next door. They were a long jog away in most cases. So it could be 5 minutes or so before you even get back to your corpse. So keep that in mind. Level with a group. Hopefully you've got somebody who's got some healing abilities so they can keep you healed up and you can power through the group. And aside from that, I've gone through the making sure you collect your gold, make sure that you're staying in a group. Try and have a game plan before you log into the server, like what it is that you want to do as soon as you get in, and have a backup plan. Have 2 backup plans, so that if something goes sideways, the players you want to play with for some reason they can't get in, have a backup plan to get into another group. Or if there's way too many people in the starting zone, have a backup plan. Get into a group and maybe move on to the mobs that are a few levels higher than what you are. If you've got 5 people that are killing a mob that's 3 or 4 levels higher than you, it shouldn't be a problem, right? So you don't have to kill the mobs that are your level. And you don't even have to do the quests in the starting area. Like, you can just grind mobs and get the hell out of there as fast as you can. So the ultimate goal, though, is to try and get ahead of people as fast as you can. Now, having said that, there's going to be some people who are playing on the fresh server and they're hearing all this, or they get frustrated. If you're not wanting to deal with this initial launch, come back in a couple of days. Anybody who's starting on this server, it's likely that after a couple of days they're going to be well beyond the initial starting zone. You can start on the fresh server a day later, 2 days later, and you won't have nearly as much problems in getting out of that starting zone as you did. There'll probably just be 1 or 2 groups of people running around, and you'll be able to get going and eventually catch up. And it'll probably be a easier time for you. But also keep in mind that once you get up to level 20 doing that, there's probably already going to be people like the 3rd day that are level. There's probably going to be some jackass that's level 30, or well, easily level 30, but maybe even level 40 at this point. So they could already be running around and killing you. So keep that in mind. But you got to take the bad with the good, right? So anyways, I'm really looking forward to this Northdale launch. Just like everyone else, I'm really looking forward to Blizzard's classic servers. I've been paying a lot of attention to it. If you don't know how to log in and sign up for Light's Hope, etc., I'm going to leave the link below. The instructions are very easy to find. The client is very easy to find. Download it, follow the instructions on how to install it. It's really simple. The first time I tried to do it, I had it from the time that I went to the website to had it downloaded and was creating my first character. It was about 15 minutes or something like that. It doesn't take very long to download the client and get everything up and running. So it's not hard. If you've never tried one of these servers before, I would strongly suggest that you do. They are a lot of fun, and they are very authentic compared to like old school classic WoW. If somebody had just told me, hey, log on to this server, this is a Blizzard server, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. It's that close. They did a tremendous job, the people at Light's Hope. I played on other private servers, Elysium. We all know about the drama that happened there. I also played on Nostalrace for a short period of time, which seemed like it was a very well run server. I didn't get to max level there, but it seemed to run fairly well. but Light's Hope seems to be doing a really fantastic job, and it's about as close to classic World of Warcraft as you can imagine. It's how I envision Blizzard's authentic, like their own classic server is going to be like when it finally launches. So they are in patch 1.12 at launch for this server, but it'll be progression. So a lot of the raids and stuff like that aren't going to be available when they first start, but they'll be progressing through it as the months go on. So in that sense, it's very authentic compared to how old Blizzard servers were. So if you've never tried one of these servers, again, if you really enjoyed vanilla World of Warcraft, if you've missed vanilla World of Warcraft, I would really strongly advise you give one of these servers a go. They're a lot of fun. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, please feel free to come visit me on my Twitch stream. It's at twitch.tv/Alodar. I'll leave the link down below. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate if you liked the video and if you subscribe to the channel. And please feel free, like I said, come by my Twitch stream anytime you want, or leave a comment below if you have any questions. I always respond. If you're having trouble getting downloading the client or logging into the game, please feel free to stop by. There's always tons of people on my channel, and people are always willing to help somebody who's never logged on to one of these servers get themselves started. So anyways, I'll leave it at that. I hope to see you in game, and I hope to see you all on Blizzard's Classic servers. For any other news that happens with Classic coming up, I will be releasing videos as they come out with more information. See you in game.